Kirk Cousins, the next quarterback of the Denver Broncos. One name to keep an eye on for the Denver Broncos tomorrow as the legal tampering period of free agency opens at 10 o'clock in the morning is Kirk Cousins. According to NFL Network's Tom Pelissero, who is somebody who is based in Minneapolis and has deep connections to not only the Vikings organization, but also the Denver Broncos organization through George Paton, who has those ties to the Vikings, serving as their assistant general manager for all those years under Rick Spielman. So there are deep connections here between Tom Pelissero, the Vikings, and the Denver Broncos. Today, Pelissero reported at about 5:24 p.m. Mountain Time that the Vikings and Kirk Cousins remain in communication, but it appears the four-time Pro Bowl quarterback will test the free agent market, which opens at noon Eastern Time or 10 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow. This is huge, and not only that, Tom Pelissero named the Denver Broncos as a possible destination alongside the Atlanta Falcons for Kirk Cousins should he decide not to return to Minnesota. Before I play this clip, again, let me remind you here that Tom Pelissero is a strong George Paton water carrier. So the notion that he is saying the Denver Broncos are interested, there is some merit to this. Let's take a listen to what Tom Pelissero has to say.
Well, Patrick, the Vikings and Kirk Cousins' agent remain in communication, but at this point, it does appear that the four-time Pro Bowl quarterback is going to hit the free agent market on Monday. Other teams I would expect to pursue Cousins do include the Atlanta Falcons and quite possibly the Denver Broncos as well. The Vikings are still in this. A deal could come together quickly, assuming that the offer is right. So what does an offer to Kirk Cousins look like? I would certainly anticipate that the average per year is going to be upwards of $40 million, but structure is also really important. Future guarantees are really important, Ian, to a player who has played on a fully guaranteed deal for 9 seasons in a row.
Another thing that is important to note here is that Kirk Cousins' contract doesn't officially void until Wednesday when the new league year begins. I believe he's got some void years on his deal that they're going to obviously take advantage of, the Vikings, so allowing him to hit free agency. That's what void years are. Those are not years that the player is going to actually play on the contract. It's just years where they have dead money for that player on the team. So the Vikings have technically until Wednesday to get an extension done with Kirk Cousins, but he's also going to have about that 48-hour buffer window there where he can test out free agency, see what's available on the open market. And in terms of finances for what he would get, again, Tom Pelissero said it would be somewhere north of $40 million. Is that the kind of money that the Denver Broncos want to commit to? And on top of that, Cousins is looking for a lot of guaranteed money, if not a fully guaranteed contract. I think there are other teams out there like the Atlanta Falcons who might be in a better position to pay Kirk Cousins a fully guaranteed contract. The Denver Broncos, considering that they're going to have to take on significant salary cap penalties for Russell Wilson's deal, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me for Kirk Cousins to come to Denver. But the fact that this is coming from Tom Pelissero, who again is a known George Paton water carrier, I feel like I have to make this video because I do think there's a possibility that the Denver Broncos could bring in Kirk Cousins. I'm curious about your thoughts on this, Broncos country. How would you feel if the Broncos went out and pursued Kirk Cousins to be their next quarterback? Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts on that, as always. Now, for me, it's kind of a catch-22 because I don't want to pay Kirk Cousins that much money. I don't. But I do think that he would fit really, really well with what Sean Payton wants to do. Reading the field over the middle, quick in-breakers, being able to throw post routes, being able to throw outside the numbers, just stuff like that Russell Wilson wasn't able to do. Kirk Cousins fits what Sean Payton wants in a quarterback. There's no doubt about that. From a schematic perspective, Kirk Cousins would work really, really well in Denver. But you have those concerns about a 36-year-old quarterback who is coming off of a torn Achilles, but I will say he is predominantly a pocket passer. I don't think that the slight loss in mobility from his torn Achilles is going to significantly hinder Kirk's game like it would a more mobile quarterback. quarterback because Kirk thrives so well in the pocket. Sure, he has to move from perimeter to perimeter a little bit when executing some of those wide zone concepts, but in Denver, he wouldn't really do that. Denver's a lot more of a north to south running team than an outside the tackles running team, an outside zone running team than they used to be under the Shanahan days. Denver has really transitioned to that true Sean Payton power run scheme, so Kirk wouldn't have to get outside on the perimeter too often, aside from when he's escaping and getting out of trouble. So, I don't know, man. I actually think that the Achilles isn't going to be as big of a factor here as a lot of teams are making it out to be, especially when we're seeing quarterbacks such as Aaron Rodgers make these quick recoveries from torn Achilles. It's not as significant of a hampering injury as it was several years ago. So I don't think that's as big of a factor here, but the age is a factor, and there are some other things as well that just make me not so sure that Kirk Cousins is the right quarterback for the Denver Broncos. But again, man, coming from Tom Pelissero, we have to mention it. All right, Broncos country, please do me a favor and leave a like on this video and turn notifications on as we go into tomorrow's free agency period. Anytime the Denver Broncos make a move, we will be announcing it and covering it right here on the channel within the first 10-15 minutes of the move. I'm very quick about trying to get these videos up, so it'd be really, really wise if you turned on notifications by hitting the little bell next to the subscribe button. That will ping your phone with a notification every single time that we upload and every single time the Denver Broncos make a move. It's not expected that the Denver Broncos will be too active tomorrow. It's more so in the next coming couple of days when the second tier of free agents starts to go through. That's when the Denver Broncos are expected to have some more activity. But you never know, man. We could be sitting here at this time tomorrow announcing Kirk Cousins just signed with the Denver Broncos. You never know, man. So please be sure to keep those notifications on for all those continuing updates. And I would really, really also appreciate it, guys, if you could leave a like on this video as well as subscribe to the channel if you have yet to do so. Those are two free and easy ways to share your support. Helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out and helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. And until next time, guys, I am your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.